Looks like we are live. Let me bring up the chat here. Was that better? I've put together a little video just to, with a countdown. I wanted that countdown. Let me know if you guys want that or not. It might help people file in more. So let me bring up the live chat. Live chat is moved. Okay, right there. So Tracy Benna is here. So that's just video that I shot. Oh, Tracy's also a member with the washing machine. No kidding. I can't remember now how many months that is. Did you ever see the movie Turner and Hooch? I have not. So no, I don't. Yeah, I haven't. Might have to watch that tonight. Yeah, so I just put some. That's video that I've collected over the past year and a half. So just do that. That's from a couple different communities to Shipshewana, Topeka area, and then up towards just south of Coldwater, Michigan. There's a stricter Amish community. The shot with the windmill that comes from there, and the open buggy. Hi, Lynette. I'm good today. How are you guys? I had quite a day, quite the experience. I took the cold plunge. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. I've talked about cold showers on the channel, on the live streams. I'm not doing cold showers. That is absolutely miserable. It just turning the water to cold in the shower results in just screaming and dancing in the shower. Not ideal. So, but I've been watching a guy on Facebook. He posts videos of it occasionally where they take a cold plunge. They have a deep freeze that has water in it that it was frozen on top. You have to break the water sometimes. I think the water is at 35, 37 degrees, something like that. They convinced me to jump in, and I did, and I'm doing it again. There's no doubt about it. It was absolutely painful, and everything inside me said get out, but I actually sat in there for 4 minutes. It was unbelievable. I sat in there, and I was like, and my elbows started hurting, my hands started hurting, because it was cold. And he had set the timer for 2 minutes. I guess that's what they try to get first timers to sit in there for that length. And I would have guessed less than 30 seconds in, he said, "Oh, your 2 minutes are up. You're good to go out. You're good to get out if you want." What? I figured it would barely be 30 seconds. So I kept sitting in there and for 4 minutes, and I could have sat longer, but I didn't want to break records the first time. So definitely going back there. I might even buy my own someday, just to use deep freeze, fill it with water, good to go. Hey, Daryl Miller, how's it going? Video was great. Yeah, I'll probably just play that before the live streams, and we'll just, that way people can file in, and you guys can kind of know when I'm going live. Daryl Miller, what are my thoughts on certificate of baptism? I don't know. I've never heard of that. Certificate? So you get like a piece of paper? I would say unimportant, just, without knowing anything more. This is the first time hearing about it. Baptism is not necessary for salvation, although I would say important. I don't know that I understand the importance of it yet, though. So it's something that needs to be studied. I've been meaning to ask people about it, possibly even share the importance of it on YouTube. So maybe someday I'll do that. So some people do a polar plunge on the first of the year. Yeah, it did not go as expected. I figured it would be miserably cold there, tingling, just miserable. And it wasn't pleasant, to be honest. But it does things to your body. That is crazy. Like it almost got to the point where I started heating up in there. And then when I stepped out, this was this morning, when I stepped out, my whole body got really hot. And I, you know, to be honest, I was ready to go back in, just for another few minutes. Like yeah, I'm thinking there's something to it. What it is, I don't know, but we'll figure it out. I know the guy who started doing it. He's been doing it for a long time, and he Skittles. He's on. You can find him on. What is his handle on Facebook? Ah, I'll have to find that. Maybe I can find that right now, and you guys can find him and follow him. He's a character. So yeah, I don't know. Where are you at, Skittles? Stupid! I can't believe I don't know his handle. Oh, that's why. Let me check. Get out of the page. Sorry for the boringness. I think you guys would. You might find him interesting. He grew up Amish too. Um, Him and his family have been drifting through. So, drifting through. I don't know if you can see that. He's in the tub. That was this afternoon, I believe. He is he's quite his family's quite the character. They a couple bull riders come out of that family. His younger brother Lonnie is a super good snowboarder. I would have said easily been able to go pro had he begun at a younger age. Of course, he didn't begin until he didn't start snowboarding until he was in his later teens. Still very good, very talented. Just off the wall. He had the right mindset. He went for things. He broke his arm skateboarding off of their roof one time. So just kind of helps you put things into perspective. Skittles is funny. He's fun. He's they're just a great family. His brother, their older, I don't know if, their one brother Steve is great at playing guitar, and just very talented at guitar, very good at it. You know, he as an Amish kid, he rode up to the. He told me this one time. He went up to the flea market. He bought a guitar, and on the way home he was riding without handlebars trying to strum. So, and I've learned some things from him. So it's a great family. I went snowboarding with Lonnie a lot. Steve and Skittles here, I don't know that much, Jerry, but Lonnie I went snowboarding with quite a bit. It was a super fun family. Very nice family. They have some other brothers. I'm not sure, very familiar with them. I think they were older. But so the cold plunge. Skittles. So he's dieting and running too, but he's on I don't know what his diet is, but he thinks that the cold plunges have helped him lose weight as well. And Wrangler Star said that. So Wrangler Star is doing it as well with his warband in the river. And that's why, these guys are legit. And that's why I started thinking about it. Some of this stuff comes along and it's just a fad. But I know the Miller family, the Skittles family reputation. I know Wrangler Star's reputation. And I just, there was no doubt in my mind there had to be something to it. But getting into some 30-some degree water is, yeah. But it wasn't bad at all. I'm getting back in. I might even have my own ice bath behind the house one of these days. I think it'd just be easier if there's other people along. My brother doesn't know it yet. My Amish brother, the one we go running with, he's going to bring some trunks and a towel, and he's going to take the cold plunge before we go running next Saturday. It'll be fun. He's always bragging about how tough he is. He's going in. So Daryl Miller says, something they do at the Church of Christ, period, but I feel like that is boasting. Yeah, so I think the Church of Christ, I'm not sure, so don't hold me to it, but I'm thinking I've heard they teach that baptism is required for salvation, and I would definitely disagree with that. If that's the case, then Jesus basically lied to the thief on the cross, because the thief didn't get baptized. Obviously, he didn't have a chance. But Jesus told him, "Today you will be with me in paradise." And we might get into some of that a little bit later. Oh, Janine, yeah, thank you. Janine says, "Hey, sorry for your grandma's passing." Yeah, so let's get into that. We might as well. Yeah, she was. It's sad. She was a good grandma. She was an edgy grandma for an Amish one, and we'll get into that some. But she was. Mom basically had to carry. Mom took care of her, and she basically had to carry her around, and from toilet to tub and all that stuff, from bed to chair. And my poor grandma. When I was 5 years old, I'm now 40. When I was 5 years old, my grandma, my grandpa passed away, and my grandma's been single ever since. So after my grandpa passed away, they sold the farm. She put up a house next door to ours, and then and she had given my parents land because she knew my mom, being the only daughter, was going to take care of grandma. But she sat in that house. She wasn't ever very active, and she didn't have a whole lot of hobbies other than maybe flowers. Everybody always commented on her pretty flowers out front, so she always took care of those. But as she got older and less mobile, she sat in that house day after day after day after day. Sometimes she would get visitors, but not that often. And, us grandkids, we were always around. We mowed her lawn. We cleaned her barn. And we would go inside. She would always have red cream soda, Barks red cream soda. My sister ordered a case of that off of Amazon for like $24. If you guys know where to find it, let me know. You can get the regular cream soda, but not the red cream soda. And then she would try to talk to us. She would want us to hang out and talk to her because she was lonely, and we would try to get to the door. She'd keep talking, hey, just a little bit longer or whatever, and we'd get the hand on the doorknob. We got to go, and she kept talking, and finally we would make it out the door. But this was in the later years. Shortly after Grandpa died, when I was old enough to drive, me being the oldest grandchild close to there, we would hitch up her horse and take her to town, to Shipshewana. So what a long day that would be. So we would take Grandma's slow horse, we get Grandma in the buggy, and we would drive her up there to the lunch parlor, which is now where it was where the Davis Mercantile is now. So the original building burnt down. They put up the Davis Mercantile. And hey, hit that like button while you guys are at it. That would be awesome. I'll get to your comments here shortly. But yeah, so we would sit there for 3 hours while she would talk to people, right? We would eat our breakfast and then sit there for 3 hours. Can you imagine, little boys? We were bored. Sometimes we would, run over to the pharmacy next door who had baseball cards or basketball cards that maybe she would purchase a pack for us or something. But after that, it was almost lunchtime then. So then we would go down to Wanamingo, back when it was good and thriving. I don't know if it's back up and running now or not, but Wanamingo. So then we would eat a pizza burger from there and sit there for hours, and finally beg her to buy us one of those 50-cent suckers that are big. And then after that, we, for 2, 3, 4 hours, we would sit there talking to more locals. And then maybe we would go to the flea market. Sometimes she would buy us a toy or something at the flea market, and then we would head home. We did that often, and I was glad I had some brothers and some cousins we could trade off with, because doing that, it was boring sitting there. So let me catch up on comments and we'll head on with the well, maybe we'll just catch up on comments later. I'm gonna lose my train of thought. So Janine, do I know you, Janine? Are you my cousin? Not sure. But yeah, my grandma's funeral. So my grandma, they took her to the hospital. She had a blood clot in her leg, I think Friday or Saturday. And the doctors told her the chances are slim. They can cut the leg off if they choose to. And my uncles and my mom decided, no, they're not going to put her through that. She doesn't want to go through that. She's told us she's ready to go home. So she passed Monday morning in her own house at 6:30. And Mom called me shortly after that. I showed up there because I had to do some work. I was doing some work for my dad, helping my dad out because they're also getting ready for a wedding. So we were residing his garden shed, putting vinyl siding on it. I showed up about 12 o'clock. So she passed away at 6:30. The funeral person said they'd have her ready to go for viewing by 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock. They'd have her back by 3 o'clock. Yeah, I showed up about noon, did some work. In that time, the bench wagon had been brought down, the shop had been cleaned out, the benches had all been set, a tent had been put up, and the women were already working on preparing food for the dinner at 4:30 that they always feed the family. That was all before. That was all done by the neighbors who had who worked at home. Basically, were either retired or worked at home. They were mowing our lawn, our mom and dad's lawn, and everything. That was all before the men came home from the factories at 1 o'clock. They all showed up then as well to help things get done. They had the viewing at my parents' house in their shop 2 nights. And in that time, they were also getting ready for the funeral down at my neighbor's house where my grandma and grandpa had their farm. They were going to do the funeral there. So it's so crazy. It is so crazy to see all these people. They just come together. There's usually, the bishop, the church bishop, him and his wife. They already have a lot, but they're handling funerals as well. So all he has to do is say a word, get this needs to be done, this needs to be done, and it's done. Consider it done. So yeah. And so I was working there, and, obviously food has to be purchased for the funeral, the meal after the funeral, after you bury grandma, and the evening dinners. So the bishop asked me to run him up to E&S Sales to get food for the funeral, since he was kind of directing that. So now I want you, I want you guys to catch that. This is the very same bishop that shunned me for a year and a half. This does not happen in a lot of Amish communities at all. A lot of Amish communities, if you get shunned, you're shunned for life. So this bishop, our home bishop, he shunned me for a year and a half. He shunned me, but it was what you have to do if you're an Amish bishop. If you don't do it, you lose your status. And he didn't ask to be bishop. He doesn't want to shun people. But it's what you have to do as bishop. So, and then a year and a half later, he lifted the shunning from me because he had heard that I went to a church, and he had asked for the pastor to send him a letter saying that I'm an upstanding member of the church, and so he knows that they can now lift the shunning from me. So he lifted the shunning from me. But yeah, I took him up to E&S Sales to pick up the groceries for the funeral, and then brought him back. This man has been our neighbor for since I was born, basically. He lived right across the road from my grandma and grandpa's house. You probably can't ask for a better neighbor. Such a good neighbor. They kept to themselves, yet they were there to help. They weren't standoffish or anything. They just minded their own business. They did their thing. We did our thing. Super, super good family. Really good man. And although some men, Amish men, might desire to have the role of bishop, and some might, once they get in that role, abuse that authority, he's not one of them. To him, this is a duty that he is burdened with, that he didn't ask for, didn't want. It just, the way they do it, the way they pick lots, this is something that he takes on as something that God has given him the role of. So he just humbly does what needs to be done. And he's such a good man. Such a good man. It's unbelievable. So forgiving and so open-minded. And, you know, just the fact that he rode with me. I don't know that all the bishops in this area would do that. I think a lot of them would have pride. Too much pride to allow themselves to do that. So, I've spoke highly of him before, and I won't stop. You know, obviously he's not a perfect man. How do I know that? Because nobody is. I haven't seen him stumble ever, but I'm sure he does, because everybody does. It's just when people think of Amish people, he's one of those. Yeah, the ones that when you think of Amish, he's one of those people. The good, solid. Yeah. So, very interesting. That was kind of a bit of a shock to me. Yet it's still, you know, there's more in this area that would do that. No problem. This community is getting really lenient with that type of stuff, being more forgiving of the people who leave. So, yeah, that is the story on that. My grandma, so we had 2 evenings of viewing. I don't know how many people. I know there's tons of people that get to go through those viewings sometimes. There was a younger, I'm assuming a younger Amish man who got killed on a bike over in Napanee area. So there was viewing for him as well. But yeah, a lot of people show up to just pay their respects. But yeah, so we, you know, I had 2 brothers, Paul barriers. If you want to know what an Amish funeral is like, I did do a video on that, so just go back and find it. I should have linked it in the comments below. Yeah, let me check here. Lori B, we have lots of Amish where I live. Some have phones, most don't. I live in Iowa. Okay, I wonder if it's Kelowna, Iowa? Is that the right word? I got a brother-in-law whose parents came from there. Kelowna, I think. Yeah, it all depends on the community. Some communities do, some don't. A lot of Amish people around here have cell phones. They have tractors. They drive around with tractors and trailers, and it's so hilarious. I would not. It's the guy driving the tractor and his wife sitting on a chair back in a trailer. That's got to be humiliating. If I was her, I would not do it. I have pride problems. I wouldn't do it. I used to hang out with Skittles in the barn. Yep, he used to be a main event probably at the barn. Fun guy. I've heard of the barn. I never hung out there. My sister did though. Peggy Ingham Groves. Hello, new here to live chat. I found your videos a few days ago. We have a couple mutual friends, Eric and Misty from Buell. Oh yeah. Hey Peggy, do I know you? Ah. Is that your son? Yeah, I should still send him some money for doing that. I really appreciated that. So yeah, that's my wife. Let's see. So yeah, that's very interesting. What is his name? Gabe? Why can't I remember? Cool guy. I remember that. And he's diesel mechanic. Very valuable trade. Tracy Bennett is an outward confession that you were walking with Christ. Yep, I would agree with that. Baptism. She's talking about baptism. So sorry you lost your grandma. Yep, the Church of Christ that descends out of the stone movement does teach that you are not saved unless you are baptized. So John Dunn, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. So there's Church of Christ and Church of God, and I don't know if there's a difference. I haven't studied them that much. I've just heard from other people. So it's secondhand from me. But John Dunn confirmed that. So yeah, so Praying God comforts and strengthens you and all those who love your grandma. Yeah, we loved her. Obviously, we're going to miss her, but we're almost happy for her. You know, are Amish saved or not? I don't know. Is she saved or not? I don't know. We asked her, and she said she feels good about it. I wish she would have heard when I said, you can know, Grandma, that you can know. 1 John 5:13. These things are written so that you may know that you have eternal life. It changes everything. So I'm assuming, I'm hoping that she is dancing with Christ, that she is praising him and just basking in all his glory. So we're happy for her. She's been without a husband for years, and I hope, now in her body, just she couldn't get around, and partly her own fault. But yeah, I just hope she's happy. Oh, well, my dad, kids 20 years ago. My mom died of. My dad moved in with my husband and kids 20 years ago. My dad died of Alzheimer's. Yeah, Lynette, it's, having parents to take care of in a house puts a lot of strain on families. A lot. So on the in-laws, it's just hard. Yeah. I like the video. You made it. Oh, thank you, Gracie. So, oh my goodness, that's amazing. The shunning had to feel horrible. Lynette Creates says the shunning had to feel horrible. Not really, honestly. I knew it was coming. I knew when I made that oath to the Amish church that if I left, that's part of it. So a lot of people get bitter about it, but I just accepted it, and that's just what it is. One thing that helped was I didn't have it was my only choice was to leave. There was no other option for me. I know most Amish people won't ever understand that. Most people might not understand that, but I had to. There was no other path for me. God had been trying to get me out of there for years before that. He just all brought it down to a big old kaboom, and I had no choice. So I can rest on that it definitely was a God thing. And, the only thing, it was just a little awkward when I was being shunned. My sister got married, so when I came back here, I had to sit with my parents. You have to sit with family anyway, so it wasn't too bad. But I had to sit next to my mom, who dished out my food for me. Because had I dished it out myself, the people down the line from me could not have ate from it. Because I was being shunned. Do not eat with such a one. Still sat there and ate with them and just talked with them. Like I said, they're lenient. Older, way stricter communities would never do that. But they're getting a little bit more open up here in northern Indiana. Perry Eicher. Perry Eicher is a good man himself. I've come to know him since I started the channel a little bit. I don't know if we've ever met physically, Perry, but yeah, I could tell you're a good man. But Perry says Fritz is a classic example of a good person, doesn't matter what denomination. Exactly. You hit the nail on the head there. Yep. I never, ever I felt bad that I had to put Freeman or Fritz through that. I felt bad. So glad it all worked out. Every weekend growing up was around Amish, wonderful food, nicest people. Yep, for sure. Eric. Oh, okay. So you and Eric were married, lived just outside of Lancaster, PA, before moving west. Bryant. That's what it is. Yeah, it's mine and Eric's son. Misty's a wonderful lady too. Yeah. I love them. I don't think I've met you ever, but yeah, great people. So Eric, I miss Eric. Eric was the church that we attended. Eric and Misty went there. Eric doesn't he doesn't beat around the bush. He just says things. He works 20 hours a day, I think. He does not know what it means to take a break and have a little bit of fun. But he's a good guy, and I clicked with him probably more than anybody else in the church. Just because there's that farming country background we had. Must have been. I don't know what it was, but we clicked. I liked him. I miss them. Oh, thank you, Lynette. Yeah, I'll have to get my wife. She commented here. I'll have to get my wife on here more often. You know, this vlogging, weekly vlogs is just, it's not working out. Maybe I'm gonna try again, but I keep forgetting to take my phone with me, and then just last week, things took a left turn, so I did not do any jobs last week. I was super busy though, just running around for my family and helping out over there and stuff. Uh, yeah, just the way it is. So, thank you for that, Lynette. Kelowna is 60 miles from me. Lots more Amish have moved in Delhi. Oh, okay. I know that we drove through. Kelowna isn't far off of 80, I don't think. Me and my wife decided to drive through there one time. And, yeah, it didn't look like a big community. So I wonder if, yeah. So Delhi, I got to remember that and cruise through there. Walter Helmuth, sounds like an Amish name. I grew up just north of Middlebury, but left about 46 years ago. They shunned me for a year. Okay, so even that long ago, Walter. Because I know I've heard there's still a few churches here that will not lift the shunning once you join another church. But from everything, from what I remember as a kid, they've done that to people who leave the Amish and then join a church, whatever, a non-Amish church. So yeah, they must have been doing that years ago. Just north of Middlebury. Walter Helmuth, just north of Middlebury. I don't know if I know any of your relations. Middlebury's a cool town. Very busy now though. Anna Wingard, I just didn't get to the viewing. I was so busy, I wouldn't get away so easy. Yeah, no, that's fine, Anna. Yeah. Oh, Anna, you have a washing machine too. Thank you. Thank you for being a member. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think I would recognize you if I saw you, because I know I've seen you before. But if I don't, you just have to come and punch me in the face, because I know you know the family well. But yeah, I know you're a van driver. There's no doubt that you're busy. And then if you have a family, then I understand. Yep, I understand. No, I think for the most part, we're happy for Grandma. She's now laying next to her husband in the graveyard. So, not your cousin. Okay. Do I even have a cousin, Janine? Janaline. I have a cousin, Janaline. Okay, yeah, I got your names mixed up. I should know better. Janaline. Janaline? She's not Amish as well, either. Gracie says you can get red cream soda places in the Detroit, Michigan area. My daughter's boyfriend had one today. I'm sorry I didn't ask him where he got it. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, we were looking for it in Walmart stuff, but we couldn't find it. So my sister just ordered some off of Amazon. It was kind of this was before Grandma even died, so it was kind of a cool. I have some Grandma stories. We'll get into that if we have time. Janine says, found your channel through the show Living on a Dime when you were on with Tara. Oh, yeah, Tara's great. Yep. Oh, man, her kitchen. I haven't watched some of her latest videos, but, man, I'm just not getting video time like I used to when I drove truck. Hey, Anna, how are you? Annie, not Anna, Annie. So, yeah, thank you for your support, Janine. I appreciate that. So yeah, let's hear some Grandma stories. So I mentioned that she was a little edgy as far as Amish grandmas go. My grandma grew up in Shoto, Oklahoma, and they were a little bit more. It was an outlying Amish community. They were a little bit more relaxed, or a little bit more rough. I don't know, rough. They didn't in Shipshewana, Indiana. In Topeka, Goshen, this Amish community up here, I would say along with Holmes County, you kind of keep up with the Joneses. Everybody's yards clean, everybody's dresses correctly, and they're uppity. I don't know that they think they're uppity, but they're just very, yeah. They're the Joneses of the Amish. And I've heard that the Amish around here are a little bit rude. They're not as nice as some other communities. But I don't know that they're not nice. I think it's more insecurities. like it's I see a lot of insecurity in this community up here, because people know what goes on. People know everybody, and it's, I don't know. Yeah, I just see a lot of that. Maybe it's in other communities too. I don't know. But Shoto, Oklahoma, from what I gather from Grandma, which I did shoot a video of before she passed away. I took like a 30, 40-minute video of her and just asked her on questions. And I'm kind of hoping to do it to her sister, her younger sister, who's still alive, to just capture some of that history. But yeah, so it was more laid back. Their language would have been rougher. They would have used shit, crap, the words that I got admonished for on here. Maybe, like the men might have drank more. Around here some of the younger men drink, but it's still not, it's more frowned upon than it may have been in Oklahoma. Like chewing tobacco and smoking is probably frowned upon more here than it was there. Obviously I wasn't there, so I can't know for sure, but my grandma always told me that they got made fun of when they moved up here because they were sloppy. And their language, they got made fun of their accent and all that stuff, their language. Because here comes this, well, I mean, I kind of picture it probably wasn't to this extreme, but I kind of picture it as when the Beverly Hillbillies moved into the LA area, or when the Beverly Hillbillies moved into Beverly Hills. I kind of imagine that when Grandma's family moved up here from Shoto. So she got kind of made fun of it. Anyway, but even later in life, she was alone living at the house and lived right next door. So whenever our cousins came over to play, we would hang out over there quite a bit. We had a basketball hoop in our barn. We would play a lot of basketball in our barn. Matter of fact, the barn still has, maybe I need to get video of it, but the barn still has a bunch of spray painted names on the wall, like Shaquille O'Neal or Sean Kemp, my brother was a fan of. I was a fan of Shaq. Mookie Blaylock, I think his name is on there. But Charlotte Hornets fans, Seattle, what are they? Supersonics fan. Yeah, the cousins, we spray painted our basketball players on there. Back in the day, everything was basketball for us Amish kids. Now I think it's more football, but back then it was basketball. That's all we ever did was play basketball. Traded basketball cards in school, talked basketball. And it was quite exciting when our high school basketball team went to state 2 years in a row. If you're from Northridge or Fairfield, did you hear that? Westview went to state, got state 2 years in a row. Did you guys? Those were always our rivalries, Northridge High School and Fairfield High School. It did not matter. It did not matter which teams. There could have been a sucky team. One team might have been good, going places. Say Westview was going places. Northridge sucked for the year. But when they played, it was always a good fight. It was a close fight. Same with Fairfield because of the rivalry, and probably because of the rivalry that came with the Amish community and all the hype that was wrapped up in that. Because otherwise, like the schools outside of the community, there was never that big of a rivalry. The gyms got loud. The gyms got loud. Yep. Yeah, Grandma. So I've heard a few stories. We were sharing some memories and stuff. And I just she. One of my cousins was sharing a memory about how they got kicked out of Grandma's barn one time. They were up in the hay mow smoking, under 16 years old. And they were up there smoking. And Grandma comes out there like, you guys get down here. You guys can't be smoking up there. Get down here and smoke like real men. Yeah. So, it didn't never told on her, it didn't tell our dads or anything. But it's just funny that an Amish lady is, get down here and smoke like real men. I remember, before we were 16, not supposed to have stereos. Me and my cousins would sneak him around. And my one cousin, my age, he has a birthday today. Happy birthday. he came by with an electric Amish cassette, a tape. So we were on our little pink radio, about that wide, that tall, sitting in Grandma's house with Grandma. Our parents were over at our house visiting, and we were listening to the Electric Amish with Grandma. I don't know if you've never heard of the Electric Amish. They're a band that takes old rock songs, classic rock songs, changes the words, and kind of make fun of the Amish. Kind of have fun with it. And she would, she was a little older then, so she would say, "Hey, stop it! Rewind that! I want to hear that." And she wanted to hear what they said. I think you can still find the Electric Amish on YouTube, as well as, she would. I think one time my sister, this might have been after my sister was 17, 18 years old. Her and her friend came over, dressed. They had wigs on, dressed up, kind of unfamiliar, and they knocked on Grandma's door, and Grandma was like, "Yes, we need help. We're out of gas." And Grandma, not knowing who these people are, "I don't care." And never let them in. But it wasn't that she didn't care, but she was just scared. "I don't care." Funny stuff. So let me back up here and grab some of the comments. I worked in Pryor, Oklahoma. Pryor, Oklahoma. That's how they still pronounce it. I think my grandma's used Pryor. Must be close to Shoto. Yeah, I think I've heard my grandma say Pryor. So Annie, are you a little stressed? What's going on, Annie? Hey, Sue Brown. You made it. Let me back up here. So Anna had peaches to work away, plus sweet corn. I was going and sort of, yeah. If you're doing gardens, yeah, I believe it. I believe it, Anna. I believe it. So, Lynette creates, yeah. Love the collar. That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome that you're getting compliments on it. I don't know if I'm a fan of the shape of the letters, but it's all there's available, really. There might be some other styles that we might have to get a hold of, but I love the color combination that you chose. The brass buckle and the leather just gives me the fizz. Yeah, I wish our dogs would have that, but they have collars and there's no need to pay for more. The garden's looking good. I wonder if I could. Some of the tomato plants, the bottoms are turning brown. My wife's not sure what's going on with that, but I'm gonna have to back up. Now Siri's trying to hoard in on the conversation again. Yeah, it's looking good. I'm eating cherry tomatoes every day. It's awesome. And then we have, my wife planted some heirloom ones. I think they are something tie-dye. Those are sandwich tomatoes. They're delicious. They're like green, orangish when they're ripe. So delicious. But yeah, I'll have to shoot a video for the next live stream maybe for that. Let me catch up here. Perry, are you a member? You're a member, but what's that sign? What's that? I can't even see the very old logo that I made. Thank you for being a member, Perry. And Anna's got the washing machine. Yeah, I appreciate your guys' support. Channel through the show, living on a dime. Yeah, we'll just keep going down. Yes, Iowa, Ivan, but forgot last name. They had a window business, also did my house for us. Roof, siding, insulated windows, great to work with. Yeah, that's cool. Usually they are. Not all, but usually most of them. Yep, Sue Brown made it. That is okay. You have to be early next time to see the intro video, Sue. But you're familiar with the area, so it's nothing to you. So Annie's from New Brunswick, Canada. Anna says your grandma was a sweet lady, and I remember. Yep, you would know. She is. She can be mean at times, but we were always doing stuff we shouldn't have been, and she just looked the other way. So yeah, that was cool. I remember taking your grandma to shopping and taking her to the bus stop that she can go to Florida. I know it's hard for her when she wouldn't go to Florida. Yeah, she always loved to go to Florida every year. She had a tiny little house down there. I wonder if she still owns it. No, I think she just rented it. Karen, yeah, you missed what happened with the bishop. I gave him a ride to town to get groceries and back. He's a good guy. That's all I was saying, basically. But you can watch it later. So Janine says, I love my grandma Evans. Why did that just... she's the best. Yeah. Grandmas are good to have around. Grandpas, too. I wish I would have known my grandpa. Everybody said he was a good guy. I knew him a little bit. I remember a little bit from him. I was 5 when he passed away. So, JD asked, do the Amish believe in cremation? No, they don't. So they bury the body. The person dies. They send it to the funeral home. They embalm them. They put them in a casket, a nice wooden, plain, but very plain, but hardwood casket. And I actually went out and helped dig the grave. So we dug the grave by hand. There was 6 of us. I wasn't a pallbearer, but I just kind of filled in for my cousin who couldn't make it. We dug it right next to my grandpa's plot, and yeah, it was easy. It was not all Amish dig it by hand. I know there's some grave cemeteries that is really hard digging, so they might use excavators to dig it, but then they just close it in with shovels. But we dug it by hand, and it wasn't too bad. We did hit like a little hard pan for a little bit, but then I didn't do a whole lot of digging. My plan was to sit on the grass, watch them dig, and just kind of tell them to hurry up. I was a taxi driver for them. I picked them up and took them over there, and I wasn't going to help dig. I was just gonna but I did a little bit. I did talk to the funeral director. He was there. It was interesting. He said that, yeah, I was thanking him for what he does, because they don't get paid for it. But the Amish funeral director, he takes care of, I think, 4 different churches. So when somebody passes, he kind of, since funerals aren't that frequent, he kind of tells people what to do and how to act, and tells the pallbearers how to load the casket into the buggy and then take it off of the buggy, and how to all that. So I was thanking him for it, and he's like, yeah, it takes some time out of my day, but it's really amazing how all you have to do is say the word and it's done. Because obviously when somebody dies, the neighbors, the church men are there, women are there, and all he has to do is just tell them, like, this needs done, you need to do this, and he can consider it done because it's done. It's like yep. Now, oftentimes you have people standing around waiting, seeing what needs to be done. So yeah, they feed the family at 4:30, the viewing, they set up all the benches, they clean out any shops, barns, houses that need to be cleaned out, they move stuff around. They even have a funeral. My dad got a funeral trailer. So he got a trailer, rented it for $250. It was delivered. It comes with slow Amish funeral signs that you can put on the road. It comes with cones. It comes with battery lights. It comes with hitching, like cable for horses. What else was it? Some chairs, just everything you need for an Amish funeral. So in one package. But yeah, so back to the grave digging. While we were doing that, we were discussing, when my dad said that when they dug my grandpa's grave, which was right next to where we were digging, they dug into a baby box. So somebody had buried a baby in my grandpa's plot. They don't know, they never knew who it was. There was no marker. So they just dug out the side of my grandpa's hole and just tucked it in there and then closed it up. But and they didn't tell anybody until after he was buried, because they didn't want to make a stir. My grandpa died at 55, so it was completely different than what my grandma is. It was, this is the tie-dye tomato. My wife's bringing it. They're awesome. Yeah. You're fine. So, I guess that's red, kind of pinkish.
Purple.
But it has green. It has green in it.
Show them the inside.
So it has. But yeah, Those are delicious. And all those seeds, my stomach's growling. All those seeds can be new plants if you don't eat them. Like that's just hundreds of new tomato plants because they're heirlooms, so you can replant them. They do tend to get a little bit of cracking. Is this the top? That's the side. Bottom. Sometimes like the top they get a little cracking for some reason, but yeah, you just cut it off. They're delicious. So anyway, yeah.
I'm gonna borrow the trailer.
Okay.
To help Steph and Seth really quick. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Are they moving today?
Yeah.
Okay, our neighbors must be moving. Where were we? So yeah, who knows whose baby it was? We don't know. But yeah, my grandpa's funeral was. I mean, that was obviously much harder, losing a father, a brother, before expected. You know, we were almost happy that my grandma can find rest now. Not the case with my grandpa. And you know what? It's quite amazing. In her obituary, there was 30-some grandkids. There's 30-some of us grandkids. 100 grandchildren, or great-grandchildren. 100 great-grandchildren. And two grandchildren who passed away. One was killed in an accident. I remember that very clearly. And then the other one was a stillborn. So great losses. And the parents are, I'm sure, still mourning that. But we've also been very fortunate with, especially my family, immediate family, with deaths. We just haven't experienced a lot. And it's scary because you think, when is it going to be our turn? When is one of my brothers or sisters going to get hit on a bicycle or something like that? It's scary. But so far we've been lucky. So let me back up here. So yeah, no cremation. They bury the body. They actually, they have a pine box that we set in the grave first, and then the casket, the hardwood casket, goes in there, and then they put a pine lid on top of that, and then we shovel dirt in on it. The pallbearers do it usually while they're singing a song. Just quietly shovel dirt in there, and then anybody who can come up and grab a shovel and help. I did help for a little bit. I didn't know this, but another tradition must have just started. Maybe it's been going for a while in this area. I don't know. Is little children or kids or youth, whatever, will come up and pick up rocks that came from the grave, and they'll just pick a rock and then they'll keep it as I guess this is from my grandma's grave, or this is from my brother's grave, or whatever it may be. So no urn, nothing like that. I've told my wife that although I don't know if there's anything wrong with cremation, but I told her that if she cremates me, I'm going to kill her somehow, because that would be absolutely devastating to my family. My family would not be okay with that. They believe in a literal fire hell, and they would not be okay with immediate family being cremated. I don't think, unless they become more open-minded, but I doubt it. So you Google where you can find bread cream soda. It's at Walmart or Amazon. Yeah, so my sister got it off of Amazon. Can you buy it at Walmart, or you have to order that as well? Gracie, the clear cream soda is the original one. Okay. Yep, but we're talking red. I think she Googled red. 71 years old, from Detroit, Michigan. Oh, wow. So do you live in the town, Gracie? I used to deliver fish up to Detroit. I'll go back and catch the beginning. Oh, yeah, there you go. Grew up around the more conservative Amish in Hardin County, Kenton, Ohio, and later Jackson and Benton County. We have an Amish man building our house. Oh, nice. So Bill Bame, you probably know old Eli Yoder, don't you? He's a big TikTok guy, YouTuber as well. I've done two live discussions with him. Cool guy. Very, just out there. So go find him on TikTok, Bill Bain, if you don't know him, because he's from Kenton, Ohio. Cool, yeah, I lost track of time, but I'll go back and catch the first 30 minutes. Yeah, that's right. I did not realize that the Amish had such variety in their communities. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's quite a bit of varieties. Our community, unlike the one you grew up around, Bill, is completely different. Completely different. But thank you, Annie. God bless you, too. Sue says it was in Sturgeon a couple of weeks ago. I did see Sturgis is what you mean. But we'll go with Sturgeon. Was in Sturgeon a couple of weeks ago. My son getting married next year at Pine Knob in Howe area. Beautiful place. Yeah, there's Sturgis or Howe. It's a little flat. Northeast of Sturgis, a little west of Sturgis. It's nice. Some lakes and stuff. The town, we kind of live in not the best part of town, but I like the downtown. It's kind of cool. We are ready for the country. So ready for the country, though. It's, yeah. So I was 2.5 years old when my dad's father died. I wasn't even born when my mom's father died. Yeah, I'm sorry. You never got to time with him. I know, it would have been cool having a grandpa to look up to. The only guy that's your neighbor or a different one is moving. No, it's the neighbor's on the other side, so it's a younger couple. The old man, he's staying. I think they rented, and the house needs remodeling, so they have to get out to get it remodeled. I'm sorry if I mentioned the band and was wrong too. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Janine, how close do you live to your family? So I live about 30 minutes from my family. Karen Tyler asked, do you not believe in a literal hell? Just curious. Yes, I do believe in a literal hell. I do not know, though, or I'm thinking it might not be a lake of fire like the Amish always explain. So hell to us was explained as just fire, inescapable flames, a lake of fire, 7 times hotter than a campfire. Where that comes from, I have no idea. Will there be fire? I'm sure. Will there be a lake of fire? I don't know. There's going to be gnashing of teeth, biting and gnashing of teeth. I believe that hell is going to be a place without God, and everything good is from God. So everything in hell nothing is going to be good. Fire, there is good from fire. Light, warmth. Won't be that. So I don't know. It's what it is exactly. I don't know, but I do believe in a literal hell. Yes. Oh, okay. So that Anna Wingard fills it in here. That is normal. People get stones and write on the date and who passed away too. Oh, okay. So that would make more sense because it'd be weird just to have a rock sitting on your nightstand or dresser. But yeah, that makes sense. So I've been watching your Jilly Bear. I like the name. I've been watching your vids for several months. I grew up in Illinois, fairly close to Amish communities and really close to Mennonite communities. Your grandma sounds like she was a sweet woman. Yeah, she was. She could be a little, I don't know, ungrateful sometimes, like old people are. But, I don't want to talk bad about her either. But, yeah, it just is. Old people are ungrateful. We'll probably be there when we get old, So, yeah, I should probably end this live stream. We've been an hour in. I also met, it was quite surprising. I also met a store I frequent quite a bit at, or shop quite a bit at in Three Rivers. I met somebody just yesterday who they had just left the church, the Amish church. And so we started talking. So they're going down that path. But I think they are attending a Mennonite church now. So yeah, prayers for them, for that family. I don't know why my stomach's growling. Prayers for that family because they're gonna. I don't know how hard it is for them. I don't know their story, but it probably won't be the easiest thing to do. So that's it. I'm sure I had more stories I forgot. Yep, the bishop thing went over smoothly. Super good guy. Not all bishops are the mean bishops that are portrayed in a lot of these stricter communities. There are those, though. I've heard plenty of stories. They're around here as well. Just not this one. Not our bishop, my bishop. He's a good guy. So anyway, yep, I'm going to check out. It's an hour in, and we will see you guys on the next live stream. Keep bringing your questions. Hopefully I'll have some videos coming up this week. If I just get to it. Maybe I'll have some time. Anyway, I'm CJ. This is the Amish Potato. We will see you